Hey guys, Monotoa Joe here doing a quick review or more or less guide on how to start streaming and basically just a little tutorial on the new O.B.S. MP. Now, I want to say a couple things, so I'll leave a little box on the side saying if you want to skip forward, past this and get straight to the meat, go ahead and press it. But I just want to say two things or a couple things at first for probably the first minute and a half, 2 minutes. And what I want to say is that if you guys are new to streaming, I am more than willing to help. Just comment me, follow me on Twitch and chat and come and chat with me, or even just comment or even message me any of my platforms. I only have Twitch and YouTube, but just message me or comment or anything, and I'll get back to it and reply as soon as I can to help you with your questions. But I don't know if you guys had problems with OBS. I've for the last couple days have had a lot of problems with OBS to the point where I couldn't even stream. Um and I feel like part of it was my fault, but that's the life, that's but I just wanted to say get to know your hardware and what you have. I have a decent one that's more or less worth than what it is. 4 core processor, 770 GX, good motherboard, everything like that. Um, all of it comes into play when I am trying to stream. So figure out what you can run on your hardware first. Then figure out what you can run on your internet, because a lot of people will come up and ask me, how do I start streaming? What do I do? This and this and this that, and I'm like, dude, just go to Google, and look it up. Look up what your PC can handle. If you need to find out, you can always go on Google and figure out, oh, what is my processor? Um, how heavy can I put process strength on this? Blah blah blah. How heavy can I put this on my graphics card? Blah blah blah. What should I run this side on my processor? Blah blah blah. All that stuff. Figure all that out before you do anything, as well as your internet speed. Now, don't go to speedtest.net. That place fucking sucks. That place is terrible. Um it doesn't help you at all, because what it's sending, if you didn't know, what it's sending both by download and by upload is dead files, and dead files are basically empty. Think of it as like empty calories. That's all they are. There's nothing there. While if you go to testmy.net, they actually upload live files and show you what your actual speed is and how stable it is and how good it is comparatively to others. So it's a nice little change. Like mine is about 2.6, 2.7, 2.8 MBSs. And what that is means that I can basically run a 2.5 or a 250 or 2500 bit rate stream. I personally don't like to, but I can. I just don't want to lose extra frames and have my computer push as much as it should. But either way, um, just to let you know, that's what you should do. That should be the first thing. That's first things first is to figure out what your hardware is. Now, to get into actually how to start streaming it, and basically just a little guide on OBS, the new one, because if you guys haven't heard about this, like I said before, this is basically going to be their standard OBS. This is going to be their standard OBS. They are actually stopping development on old school OBS for the new multi-platform. And I've seen a couple tutorials, but they don't really go in depth with what you can do. So first off, let's just get to basics here. I am using the capture display, or the display capture right here, on the screen. I have song, which is a text file, which I have to up it, as well as an image. So if I actually turned off display, you see the art that I do, and then we'll revert back. So what ends up happening is, or at least right now, as you can see on it, is there's the mixer, which is a really nice little tidbit. If you can change the audio volume up here, you can down mix it to mono, which basically makes it a monotone sound. You can offset the sound, as well as panning, so making it appear like it's coming out of the left ear or the right ear, basically the balance. and the tracks. And what tracks are is a little later on, but we'll go into that. We'll go into that later. Um, Another thing you have is, as you can see, actually, what's funny is normally a lot of people would have to press preview and then record and da da da. This one automatically starts preview. So right when you load up the system or the software, it actually previews it right away. Which is a really nice touch because every single other streaming software actually does that. So basically, what I'm gonna go over is just the functionalities of what is currently right now, and today it is January for not January 1st, my bad, January 9th, 2016, and what they currently have implemented right now. I'll probably do just a little additional video on later things that are later to come, but first I just want to get basically the main stuff out of the way. So first off, as you can see, there's not really a lot of settings or anything like that. Let's say like this, like my current stretch that out a bit. My current text. So we can go to text and actually go to properties like you used to and check out the font. I have Selznick Remix, which I really enjoy. You can strike out, underline, you can any writing system, so it actually like makes it certain writing like this. Pretty cool. Little things like that is pretty nice. Of course, you can put it in bold, italic, normal, anything like that, and you can also increase the size, so 48, 70, so on and so forth. Just all the basic stuff. But the problem with this, and this is where one of my major things, as you can see, it says audio only 21 pilots. So this is a song by 21 Pilots called Stressed Out, and it's the audio. So what ends up happening to fix this, if you guys didn't know this, they changed it, is custom text width. So you actually have to change your custom text or the width like this, but you would have to word wrap. The word wrapping actually fixes it, but it's a little shaky at the moment, as you can see. Normally putting it anything higher, see, like normally it actually goes up, but it really really finicky. Now I'm at 90, 100, and now it's like that. It's very finicky right now. The software for this stuff, for especially audio stuff, is very finicky. Not audio specifically, it's more text based stuff is very finicky. Normally you can actually space this out, everything like that. That's how I'm able to do a lot of my follower stuff, and it gets really complicated, and you have to be really smart with it. It's not something you can pick up and go at it right away. Of course, you can add drop shadow, which is really nice, outline, as well as outline, which is really nice thing. It kind of sucks because right now they don't have a color picker for it, so that's a little unfortunate. But the nice thing is they actually changed it so you can have different types of colors. So basically it gradients into other colors now, which is a really nice little tidbit. I like it a lot, to be honest. It's just right now when you're pulling songs from certain things, like I have to pull songs from Onkbot or Twitch, or not Twitch, my bad, iTunes. It's tough to do it, especially when you want to run current songs. It's a little bit wonky and a little bit weird. Another thing about it is not only capture display, but it's also transform. Now you can literally transform this text or even any picture by changing the position. You can change the position. So if I want it to, it's moving to the right now. I don't know. I can't see it. Now it's moving to the right. You can like fine tune all that stuff, which is really nice that the old one couldn't do. And that's a really nice little tidbit. Like, see, now it's going up. You can change the rotation of it so it's actually at an angle instead of having it at just the straight up normal size. And then you can also change the size, which just basically size and makes the for text it really doesn't do a lot because the text is bound. As you can see right now, it says stretch bound. That comes into some play different, but so what you can do is you can make it top left, top right, things like that. But this is also kind of janky, to be honest. As you can see, it's supposed to be top left, but it's not top left. It's positional alignment is not, and it's supposed to be top center, but it's not top center. So this is a little janky. This is what I'm talking about. Right now, the system is not perfect, and you can expect that from something that they basically had to build from the ground up. They built this system from the ground up. Not even as a not even as a base platform did they use OBS. They just built this new multi-platform OBS from the ground up. So you expect little bugs like this, but and it'll soon be fixed. They actually have been working really, really hard on it. I mean, I think they did a couple updates at almost every month, at least almost every 2 months. They do updates and they always add a new feature. So this stuff's a little messed up. But and right now, another thing that's messed up is normally, you know how in let's say we were going to text and we went to word wrap, we went to custom extent, things like that. You can't do that anymore. And the way you have to do it is actually stretch to bounds and by that inner bounds, things like that. It's just right now with the system being as it is, because before the whole thing about it was, let's say we had it like this, right? And we align it to center. It really doesn't do anything. A lot of this doesn't do anything, and most of it has to do with specifically like this stuff right here, the center left, the alignment and bounding blocks really comes straight from like images and things like that. You can still use it for text-based stuff, but it's a little bit weirder because sometimes it doesn't work depending on how big the box is comparatively to the text. But you have to change the box like this. And the problem with this is, or remember when you had the extends, let's say this part right here cut off. Part right here was cut off, and it would show up basically halfway during the certain size of the box. Well, in this box, the way it works is you have to do this, but the problem with this is, as you can, it starts shrinking the text instead of actually making it better. So that's another little tidbit that I have towards this addition. But like I said, you can't really complain about free things as well as something that's basically still being in development. Another thing is, so let's say that you have you do want something smaller than this, but you don't want to basically screw it over. You don't want to make it look as bad as that did, because it looked pretty bad. What you can also do now is, and the way you do most of the things, most of the little tiny like properties that most of the stuff in this new OBS has is through filters. So like I have scroll, you can add, remove, and there's image masking blend, which we'll just go through it quickly. Just alpha mask color. You also have blending. For that one thing, you can change the path, which is just the different pictures you can put on top of it. You can change the color, the opacity, things like that. I've never had to use that, so I'm not really going to go into it. I'm just trying to show you what this current build has as of right now. So let's remove that, or actually you can crop stuff, which is pretty similar to sizing, and that's why I was saying, like, this is probably if you're gonna do one single text, and I mind you, one single text, not scrolling text that has, like mine, song requests or anything like that, because this will not work for that. It'll only work for that single text. So let's say I want it at 100. This is basically what is showing on the screen is what it's gonna show. So it's at 100, and let's say I put it at 150. That's, oh wait, it's 1,000. That's what it's going to show on screen. So let's say I do that. Now that's all it's showing on screen. So this cropping helps you for at least right now, singular text based things, as well as of course images. But the text is just the main, or at least right now, what a lot of people are having problems with. So that's what you're going to want to use. Now you can use relative, which just shows you the relative plots of like where this is. So left, it's gonna shorten it here. Top, it's gonna shorten it up here, and it's gonna make it smaller here if you go smaller, or you can make it bigger like that. Bottom is gonna make it shorter here or make it longer here, and then right is gonna just chop out the right side of this. You can also do it by X, Y, and width and length, which is basically quote unquote the same thing. It is a little bit more advanced, but it is a lot more cleaner if you know what you're doing. You have color correction. which you can change the of course the colors, contrast, brightness, gamma, things like that. You can also do, of course, we did scroll, or I actually did show you scroll. They actually have a new little design. So in horizontal, you have horizontal speed. You can actually speed it one way, or you can make it speed up the other way. Personally, I of course most people like it scrolling, you know, the left way, basically. But you can also do vertical speed now, which is a really nice thing. You can vertical speed both back and forward. You can limit the width and height, which is not a bad thing, but it does take some getting used to. Basically, what it does is it allows it to all it does is limit like what it's gonna show. That's all it does. It just limits what it's gonna show on limiting the width and height. So really, other than that, there's nothing really there. Zero. Uh, then you have sharpen, which just of course sharpens the image. For both what's it called or this, which I'm actually probably gonna keep that because it kind of looks kind of awesome. And then there's the chroma key, which you're gonna use for this is how you're gonna use your green screen. Will not be able to filter, or you will not be able to go to of course camera, and you're not going to be able to go to of course camera and um change your, like how before you would just go to your camera, go to properties, and then change your chroma key. This is how you're going to change your chroma key right here. It's basically the same thing. It's a lot more sensitive though. Before, like, how like a lot of streamers, when you set up a green screen, they'll be like around, for OBS around 800 is good. Around 400 where it's at right now is completely fine. It's very strong for what it is, and I'll give you a little explanation about it right now. Other than that, like I said before, you have your image, which is just your image, like this one, like the one I have here, of my art. You have browser source, which is basically the CRL browser plugin that that OBS had before. It's a lot simpler. I'll probably do another video on it to how to add it. It's very simple though. All it is downloading, unzipping the RAR, and then just grabbing the 64-bit or 22-bit the stuff inside those folders and just dropping it into the OBS files. It's very simple. I could do a little quick thing if you guys like this and want to see it. But it'll take a minute. It's super quick. Another thing is the media source, which is a nice touch because this is actually for videos. You can go here, add a media source, and you can choose local file, input, all that stuff, all the nice stuff. Audio buffering, video buffering, frame drop level. It's basically just a video that you can have up there. A media source is I haven't tried it with GIFs because I think image does the same thing, but I could be wrong. You have of course your text. If you want to see it, I can show you. You have browsers, and another cool thing is that as you can see, add existing. What add existing is basically the global sources. So everything you add from this category, which is a browser source, is a global source. So let's say goal, which is the donation goal, it'll show up right here. And that's just the source. It's there now, and that's literally all you have to do. It's very simple, but do be warned, because if you, let's say I had a source, let's say I have the browser source, right? And I'm like, oh, I want to add my goal, or I want to add my followers and donors and things like that. And I add my goal. If I mess with my goal on this scene, it will change it for my other scenes as well. So be careful with that. Remember this. But basically it's the same thing. You put in the URL, put in the local file, and this is the nice thing too, is that you can, of course, it's a browser plugin, so you can change the FPS, change all that stuff. Nice little tidbit, or a nice little thing that OBS has added, or at least a nice little plugin that OBS has added. Then you got, display capture, which is what I just showed you, and all it is my display, and that's it. It's very simple, very simplistic. Same things. Got the window capture, which just shows you the window, of course. So if you're looking for a certain window, the priority of it, the multi-adapter capability, which isn't a lot either. All it is basically all that is basically like, you know, if you have multiple windows up and things like that. The text, which I've already shown. The game capture, which is actually a nice little thing. So like I have Guilty Gear XR right here. You can capture any full screen application, but I don't highly recommend that. I actually highly recommend just going straight to the window that you have, put the executable name, the window match priority, keep it as it is. Multi-thread adapter or multi-adapter capability. I wouldn't say touch these unless you really know all this stuff. Personally, I don't. So I wouldn't. You have force scaling, so you can change the scaling of it, of that game if you wanted to. Transparency, which allows transparency in the game if it has it. Limit capture frame rate, so you can also shorten the capture. Capture cursor, which means basically if you capture it, let's say I'm playing Guilty Gear, I can go like this with my mouse on Guilty Gear and you'll see it. So you can take that off. Don't need that. And the anti-cheat capability hook, which is of course mostly for MMOs or MOBAs or things like that. You know, just competitive games that you don't really need. You need that for. So you can do that too, which is a nice little tidbit. Video capture device, which I have an existing camera I use for streaming. That's my roof, because fuck you. Um, but you can change the properties as well. You know, my Logitech. You can configure the video, which just shows you what you can do with it. Configure the crossbar, which I don't know what that's about, to be honest. I do know that it has something to do with the where the image is or where the image is positioned. You can have custom frame rates, custom resolutions, custom FPS, video format, the color spacing, the range, the buffering, things like that. That's why I'm saying here you're gonna have to most likely go to filters for any kind of chroma key options, and increase it. So like right now, it's at 400. That's at 500. So like the only thing that's showing right now is the red on my head up there, and that's how basically you're gonna do chroma key. Smooth this. Only all it does. Don't even touch smooth this. It really doesn't help too much. Color key spill reduction really does helps a decent amount, but all it does is make your stuff gray. Then you have the contrast, which is a really nice thing. The brightness and the gamma. Sorry if it's a little bright, but you can always lower it down and things like that. Just little tiny things that are decent. So that's why I said make sure when you use chroma key for your video capture, make sure that you know what your lighting is, know what don't touch it too much because it is very sensitive and everything like that. Then you have audio input capture, which is just basically using a different audio source or outputting a different audio source. So different microphones and all that stuff will be right here. All that stuff will be right on the side, like as you see here. I have media source there. I have, which I don't need anymore, so I'm gonna that. Yeah, media source, you have mic and auxiliary, which is my mic, which is my Blue Yeti, and then you have the desktop audio, so if I play music or something like that, you'll hear it on there. Um, Other than that, uh, there's really nothing else as of right now for capabilities and that. The only other things to really show is the order, the transform, which I've already showed. You can of course flip stuff, you know, all the normal stuff that you could do, but like I said before with transform, be careful because this shit does not work. It is not going to the top right. The box is, which is a nice thing, but everything else is everything is kind of goofy right now, at least for what it is. So I think other than that, let's just get started to settings. So the settings act the same exact way, near the same way that the old OBS did. They're a little weird comparatively. Of course, you have your stream setup, which is streaming service, custom streaming servers. So servers. So if you have a custom streaming server, from a different place, you can put in the URL. It shows up all this stuff. URL stream key that. Your normal streaming service will be either YouTube or Twitch. You can show all services, which show you a wider range of what right now are popular streaming services. Of course, your servers. Now I have to put in my stream key. And then you have your output. And what this is basically the same things. I'm actually on advanced. I can't touch any of this stuff right now, but these are audio tracks, and like I was saying earlier about the audio tracks, you can actually now put in audio tracks. So like let's say like in a lot of top streamers do this, and what they'll do is they'll use audio, different not audio different audio things. What they'll do is they'll gather different, so let's say music from one program, and then they'll grab music or video game uh music or volume or whatever you want to call it, the sound from the game, and put it on different tracks and basically split it up so that it records just the game, it records just the mic, it records just the and just the what's called. And that's what you can do here for Twitch now, which is a really nice thing. And all you would have to do is, of course, set it out what the name is and fix that all up. But unfortunately, I personally wouldn't know. You would have to look on how to do it. Of course, you got your encoder, which you of course have the 260, you have the custom, and then you have the NVIDIA, which mine is a NVIDIA. You have the rescaling output, which is basically the output. I recommend you putting 1280 by 720 because you are not going to go higher than 1080. And trust me, if you are not a partnered Twitch streamer, you're not going to be able to give people the options to really watch it if they have really bad connection. Now my bitrate is here. Like I said, I could put it at 250, but 2500, but I prefer not to. Use a custom buffer size, and don't listen to what people say, and they're like, oh, use the same buffer size here. Don't, because what a buffer size is, and a lot of people don't know this, and my friend Ark told me this, and he's a very smart man, helped me with all my streaming stuff. He helped me make my stream look better than it ever has. And what you want to do is change your buffer size to at least 1,000 or 1,500 if you go over 2,000. And the reasoning behind this is, what a buffer size is it means the amount of data that a viewer can come into your room and watch your stream. So what it does is it actually lowers your quality, not of your stream, but it lowers the quality that the viewers will be able to see in your stream. So it does hurt your stream a little bit in quality, and I know that's what a lot of streaming it is. It's knowing what it is. But because I learned this, I knew what I should do. And leave it at 1,000 if you are under 200,000. If you're at 200,000, keep it at 1,000. If you're over 200,000 or 20,000, 2,000, my bad. Bitrate, then keep it at 1,000. And then if you're at like 2,200, keep it at 1,500. And what it does is it allows people, yes, to score content at a lower rate, but they don't have to. You know what I mean? Because if it depends on their connection, it just allows them to see your screen better, basically. Keep your key interval frames at 2. The CBR, which basically is just a custom buffer rate. Very fast. Never touch this unless you have a ridiculously strong CPU, and I'm talking ridiculous. Set your profile to main because it will change it to baseline. Just change it to main. Don't touch tune. Don't touch variable frame rate, and don't touch that, and you're good. Other than that, you got your recording options, which should be the same as what it was. Of course, mine is in user videos. Audio, you have all this stuff. This stuff is basically like if you want to put in different headsets, different microphones, things like that. This is what enables you to basically do what all this is. That's what it does. Other than that, you have, of course, rendering at 3DX because I have a good processor and graphics card. Your video adapter doesn't really matter. This stuff really doesn't change. Keep all this stuff basically at the same what it is, unless you know for a fact you can stream at 60 FPS and you have enough processing power to do it. Stream at 60, but keep it at 30. Unless it's certain games, because you can actually now in this one you can change profiles of different games so that they run at 60 and make it look better. Your hotkeys start streaming to hide. Actually, they have hotkeys to hide stuff. See, like show guilty geared Xrd, switch the scenes, things like that. They have nice little things like this where you can mute, unmute, pause, mute to talk, things like that. Then you have it advanced, and this stuff you're really not going to touch. This stuff you're not going to touch unless you want a custom stream delay. And other than that, that's really it. There's nothing else you need to do or learn. Other than this, after you basically set this down, unless you are going to record something like I'm recording on O.B.S, unless you are going to record something, you really don't need to touch any of this stuff. And unless you are doing stuff for YouTube, you really don't need to touch this stuff. Other than that, there's really nothing else to speak. You can also change this to default and it's dark, but dark always looks better. Um, Other than that, that's it, guys. So if you guys have any kind of questions, if you guys need me to run through something, if I forgot anything, comment. Tell me what I forgot. Or if you need info on something, I'm more than willing to help. Also, I do my own art for my streams, such as this. I do all my art. I do all a couple friends art. I've actually done art for my friend Baki. I've done art for Justin Wong. I've done art for a couple big name streamers, you know. And if you guys are if you guys would like me to do art, if you're starting off or anything, just message me, work out a deal. Normally I do it for free, but depending on how big the task will be, and how detailed you want it to be, I might charge a little bit, but most of the time you can always ask me and I'll do it for free because I actually personally do love to do art. Other than that, guys, I think that's it. Thank you all for coming in and seeing this guide. I hope it helped you, and like I said, please follow, like, and subscribe, like, and comment. It really helps me out. And if you guys have any kind of comments, need any help, anything, just message me. My name is Wanatojo, and I'm out.